Another week, another opportunity for you and I to hang out with another big guest right here on the Funny, Raw and Real Football Show. As usual, we're hanging out at the Copper Urban Grill at the Social House, Nairobi. And today we hang out with a man who wears plenty of caps, one of which happens to be from the FKF Murang'a branch. He's the chair. He is also the chair, founder and owner, CEO of Murang'a Seals, who almost made it to the top tier league. Or possibly could. It all depends. We'll get into the nitty-gritties of that, but he is well-versed with football, legal matters, and of course, the federation that runs the games. So, I think the best place to start would be with a story that is being ignored or has been swept under the carpet. Women's football. We all know we almost made it to the World Cup. What you don't know is that apart from missing out on the World Cup, we missed out on a lot more.
You know, a lot of people don't know that there are huge amounts of money in football. And one of the things that, or the benefits that you pick from, or you get from playing at the World Cup is money. And a few years, the women football has come to be elevated to almost the same level as the men version. Mm-hmm. So if our women had qualified to the World Cup, which they were about to. They only had two hurdles, which is to play Uganda and a few more teams from West Africa. They would have been able to about $8 million. So you do your math. If they would have gone through the qualifiers, so it's you're talking about $1 billion shillings, so which we lost. So that's the sad story. And you know, these things must be pointed out that this happened because of one individual who just penned off a letter. If I was in his position, I would have taken a back seat and, negotiated with government and say, look, we'll bring the team. But what he said is that we don't have capacity to take our team to Uganda. So this is a sad deal. So you can do the math and see what we lost. And not just the money, because our girls, I'm sure you've seen our girls are playing now in Europe. So imagine how many more girls would have gone to Europe had we qualified to go to the World Cup, Women World Cup.
How are you the de facto president of FKF, and what does that even mean?
I'm not a president. There is a president of FKF called Nick Mwendwa. Of course, there are some challenges that he's been going through because he's in court, and the minister disbanded the executive committee of FKF. So as the members of FKF, we came together, appointed a management committee to take over temporarily the reins of FKF. And I am privileged to serve there as a chairman. So I cannot say really that I'm the president, but I head a team that is supposed to be in charge of FKF right now.
Let's start off with Murang'a Seals. What a team. 7 years from its inception, thereabouts, and now they were so close to getting to the Premier League.
Yeah, we are just on the brink of qualifying for the Premier League. It's been a journey, as you say, 7 years. I started it in my village back in Murang'a. It's been a journey. We've gone up every level, every year. Because of COVID, of course, we've stayed in NSL for a few years. But now we are hopeful that we'll be at the summit come next season. So, but I must say that we are actually the champions because there are 6 points that are still hanging in there because they were docked from us. And once those points are given back to us by the court, we'll be champions.
Now, just for a bit of background, 6 points, walkovers because of ambulance and rules that's supposed to have been followed, that Murang'a Seals wanted followed, wasn't followed. But that matter, as you said, is in court, so we won't delve into that. But how has that been, NSL, for Murang'a Seals?
It's been quite interesting. For you to come from a zone that is known for football and be at the summit, or near the summit of FKF, it's really an achievement. But I must give kudos to the boys because they've been dedicated, have been dedicated to the cause as well. And it's not a surprise that we are there. We are an organized team, we are disciplined, and even our opponents agree that we are the best team in the league.
The confusion here is we need 2 teams for automatic promotion to the Premier League and a third one that is supposed to come through the playoffs. That is what is written on paper. But actually on the ground what is happening is we have the team that was automatically promoted as the winners of the division, APS Bomet, who have 12 points from the boardroom, not from the pitch. We also have another team called Fortune Sacco that finished second in the NSL standings, who also no one knows how they got there. But the third team, Moranga Seals, when you look at what happened on the ground, they were supposed to be the winners of the division, but they were docked 6 points because of appeals brought against in cases we don't know. So they're supposed to play a playoff with Wazito FC from the Premier League to see who now completes the line-up to the Premier League next season. So the confusion here is, do we have the right teams being promoted to play in the top division? The other confusion here is, where are we going to stamp out the kind of things that you are seeing? We have seen people being given walkovers simply because we want Team A not over Team B. We've had assault cases that are still not being solved. And we have got crazy allegations of match fixing. So this is one muddled up division, and we just need to put it all together so that we can know, are the people coming into the league through merit, or are they getting through the back doors?
We're speaking about the NSL. You're the chairman of that league. There's so many challenges when it comes to the NSL. Corruption, bribery, threats, violence, intimidation.
It's really shocking what we had to go through. Even before we talk about the things you mentioned, you realize that we don't have pitches. So I can pride myself as having the best pitch in the country. So everyone who comes home enjoys the game. But when you go out there, you play at pitches that really shouldn't even be hosting county games. So that's a big challenge. The other big challenge is travel. You know, we don't have sponsors for the league. Some of these clubs are community clubs. You have to take a trip, for example, you have to take 4 trips to Mombasa. You have to take 4 trips to Western Kenya and Nyanza. And it really takes a toll on the resources that the clubs have. Issues of corruption don't even go there because we've had much of issues that are compromised, much of issues that are, we know that are in betting, so they are giving awards, giving cards that are not justified, and we know that that's happening. We have teams being awarded boardroom points, yet the rule says that promotion and relegation should be based on sporting merit. You go to places whereby they don't allow you even to take photos with your phone because they don't want to take evidence. So that's we have to deal with hooliganism, and it's been quite a challenge. It's been quite a challenge. We are even surprised that we are where we are. So, but it's our hope that things can only get better if only people have the right kind of heart. People are interested in bringing integrity back to the game, because without integrity, then there is no game.
You talk about lack of pitches, which is pretty much the story of the Premier League too. No good pitches. You talk about lack of quality facilities, same story for most teams, but your team is slightly different. But when you bring up the fact that sponsorship is such a difficult one of the caps you wear is being the legal team of Sport Pesa, and they have been sponsors of the team. How can you say sponsorships are hard to come by when you're part of a company that actually is known for sponsoring sports? If you complain, what about any other person?
You see, Chico, people have moved from, sponsorship as CSRs. Sponsors or potential sponsors are expected to get a return on their objectives. They're expected to get returns on the investment. So when money comes to a club, the club expects that you give them nice images of your team. They expect you to be kitted properly. They expect you to have a pitch where you can put perimeter boards showing your sponsor, because it's sort of advertisement. It's not about CSR. So people must get out of that mind that it is a sponsor who needs you more. This is a partnership. It's no longer, a favor. I mean, if you're Gor Mahia, you must approach a team and tell them, look, if you give us 60 million, if you give us 100 million, this is what you get in return. So it's not just about giving us money because you're Gor Mahia or AFC Leopards or Muranga Sea.
You say little money from sponsors, but when I look at your facilities, what you've done down there in Murang are unbelievable. So how did you do that? Where does the money come from?
I can tell you that I save money to be able to do that. And I mean, it's not rocket science. I mean, a pitch is about grass and maintaining the grass. So it's not about, big thing. It's not about, we have grass, we have good weather in Kenya. Not that we needed a lot of money. And, we go wrong when you say that what we need to establish a stadium. No, what we need to do is pitches with good playing surfaces. And that's grass, Chico. That's grass.
FKF, the situation we find ourselves in, and your thoughts on it.
I could give a short background. The cabinet secretary appointed a committee to investigate the accounts of FKF. We at FKF took that head on. We say that you cannot come and audit us. You must tell us what you are coming to audit us for. And so the minister had no choice, appointed auditors, then suspended FKF. FKF, of course, went to court. Unfortunately, they lost the case. So technically, it's like the minister was right all along. I don't want to say my opinion about that whole saga, but if only people could have cooperated, take it, give and take, I'm sure we wouldn't be here where we are. But we are here because, of course, FIFA statutes provide that, federations must operate without third-party interference. And they have taken what government did to be third-party interference. Suspended Kenya from international football. So basically, what you are doing now is that we are just doing domestic competitions. But that's not where we want to be. We want our players to be playing in Europe. We want our players to be playing in North Africa, South Africa. We need to fix FKF. And I agree that there are problems at FKF, but I also believe that we can fix them if we put our heads together.
How's that going, your relationship, that intent, your relationship with a transitional or caretaker committee?
Okay. Initially, I took a hardline stand. I'm a lawyer by profession, so my position was you can't do this. I actually personally went to court. I realized at the end of the day, these are two bulls fighting, and what is hurting is the grass. So I decided to, take an initiative and, bring together a few of my colleagues in the federation and, approach the minister. And we sat with the cabinet secretary for sports, and we agreed, on a few things. One of the things that we agreed is that we need to clean house. You can only clean house if you have a proper, structures. So she recommended that we review the constitution. We told her that, we can't. There's a procedure to review the constitution, and we comply with that. We admitted that we have a deficient constitution. And so we had been talking until, of course, the minister said, now we are not going to hand over back the reins of power to the federation. And she appointed what is called now a second transition committee until after the general election. So we are stuck there. So, of course, the transition committee has been running the league, and we say let them finish, and then we see what happens after that. But I think the future is bright if we sit and agree with government, because government is a big stakeholder in football, because federation is a public institution. Though it's been run by private people, it's a public institution. So we hope that the stalemate will be resolved, and we'll be back to football soon. International football soon.
One of the things is it could be annulled. The season could be annulled. So what next for Muranga Seals, NSL, and the top tier league?
It's sad, and I'm worried of such a situation because the boys, everyone has put on their effort. This is a game that is, that has what is called an age limit. You can't play the game forever. If it is nullified, we go back to the drawing board. But I can tell you, Chico, that a lot of people are going to quit the game, and which is sad.
The game is moving from a more physical, which favored West Africa, to a more intellectual, which you believe, considering the conversations you've had, would favor East Africa. How does that play out?
You see, the game now has moved from the physicality, big players, to people who have, of course, better brains. So apparently there is a test. I hope I'm not going to be roasted. That have been done a survey that shows that actually East Africans have generally better IQ than their counterparts elsewhere. So the future then of football means is with a guy with better intellectuals, with intellectual capabilities, and this is us in East Africa. So here is the next market of future football players.
Robert Macharia, friend and of course chairman of a team that has shown us exactly how to get to the top. Well, almost. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Chief.
All the best with Moranga Seals and of course with football in general.
Thank you very much.